Paul Heller journeyed last year in search of more dragons. And another starring action comedy film for Jim Kelly. Under the direction of Oscar Williams, who had gathered together in Thailand the greatest collection of karate and kung fu fighters ever assembled, international champion Jim Kelly was at it with fists and feet before the cameras again. Deep into the interior of Thailand, north of Bangkok, the company went to tell on film their story of modern men and ancient Oriental mysteries. Ever alert to the opportunities of the country, quickly adapted the annual Song Kong Festival to the movie. The excitement of Song Kong reaches its peak in 3 days of celebration when Chiang Mai's 75,000 inhabitants fill the streets with dancing, parading, and exotic music. This far into wild territories, they're out of touch with conventional Hollywood equipment and technology. The filmmakers must resort to primitive native skills to raise cameras and equipment 90 feet in the air on a trembling tower of bamboo and elephant grass. It's muscle that must replace winches and cranes of normal Hollywood productions. Communication is difficult with the Americans, forced to pass every move through a chain of interpreters. The language of combat, however, needs no translation. Everyone on the set understands the accomplishment of Chinese-born brown belt karate star Irene Tsu in the scene where she and Jim Kelly have their first meeting. But the local elephants used in several scenes proved to be yet another problem. The jungle elephants, untrained in Hollywood work, regarded the glamour of show business with considerable skepticism. Elephant reasoning took over. They gingerly checked out the wall and refused to budge. Producers Paul Heller and Fred Weintraub spend hours with the Thai trainers exhausting all alternatives. And finally, all but one agreed to the monstrous task. The peaceful pachyderm is in tears at the prospect of involvement in such violence. When he gets slugged by one of the American karate champs, he's got to take a fall. The only way it could be done was to shoot the scene backward. The producers made a coup in persuading the mysterious Mayo tribe out of their hidden jungle villages. Gathered before the cameras, they performed a seldom-seen wedding ritual. They wear their priceless silver jewelry and colorful costumes, reflecting a tradition of arts and crafts going back to ancient times. While the members of the film company marveled at them, the tribesmen were equally fascinated by the lights and cameras and the process of production. In fact, they became so enthralled by filmmaking that every morning, 150 of the villagers walked 30 kilometers to the location. For Oscar Williams and the team of interpreters, these would be extremely difficult days. As the dialects of the tribesmen differed so much, interpreters had to be hired to translate for the interpreters. In the story, Rhino, played by George Memoli, has to face up to a challenge from a village chieftain. For the hill tribesmen to cooperate, a great many script changes were necessary, and the scene had to be reworked again and again. But finally, a fight is a fight in any language. The rice dance, a ceremonial normally performed at harvest time by the most beautiful women of the tribe, was here reenacted for the cameras with the unexpected participation of Rhino. Whistling bullets, exploding shells, and crackling gunfire were all part of the comedy action brought by Jim Kelly and brown belt karate champ Jeff Binney to the heart of this startled jungle. As shooting progressed, crowds of interested spectators followed the production company, adding shot once, and preparation was rigorous. For the big final battle, special effects men and explosive experts were imported from Hong Kong. Hours of planning were necessary in the 110-degree heat, as care was taken to guard the cameras and the spectators, as well as the performers, from the battleground explosions. But when the attack was sounded by the native troops, jungle warriors and actors gave it their all, and battle excitement was created to climax the adventures of this movie called Hot Potato. The beauties of Thailand become the background for this new movie from the land of more dragons. The movie is called Hot Potato,